How's it going, people? Welcome back to my channel. 2 videos in 2 days, 1-to-1. Come on, people. It's coming back slowly but surely. We're coming back to action on this channel. So hopefully you guys have your notifications on, you're subscribed and all of that. Make sure you guys hit the like button if you haven't already. New news to discuss. I say new news. Well, apparently he's been our #1 target all summer. And, you know what big clubs do. When they got a #1 target, they wait until the last possible moments to get it done. That's how big clubs work, right? Wrong. If you got a #1 target, you go into the summer looking to get that #1 target. You go into that summer looking to get the deals you need to get done. Not wait around and hope for the best. And that's essentially what we've done. And hoping for the best has come out the other end with a good deal, because 30 to 35 million euros for Martin Odegaard is a very good deal. Does it fix the problems at Arsenal Football Club? Obviously not. He was with us for the latter part of last season, and as much as he did bring something, and as much as I like him as a player, we need more. As Jadakiss said in that Locks versus Dipset battle, it's good, but it's not good enough. And that's what we've got to remember as fans. We've got a Kroenke out protest coming this Sunday, and lo and behold, some good news comes through. And that is Martin Odegaard, and that he might be ready for the Chelsea game too. So I can imagine that there's a lot of fans out there thinking, maybe we shouldn't protest. Maybe we should give them the benefit of the doubt and see how we go into the Chelsea game with Odegaard there. But no, we've seen this before. We've read this book many times before. Let's be honest here. Odegaard coming in doesn't change anything. Odegaard coming in helps, but we still need, and I say this confidently, a lot more this summer to go into this season with any hope, any ambition that we can build on. I say build on. It was all debris last season, so it's pretty much solid ground to build on. So let's Jamal with Facts Turkish with the Jadakiss reference. Come on, if you don't know, get to know, man. You guys got to search that Dipset versus Locks battle. Marco here says Odegaard means nothing. Kroenke out and Arteta out, and Edu out and Vinay out. Lord Harris or Peckham, you might as well join them too, and any other Wally in and around the board and the structure that Kroenke has put in place. I'm gonna go see what the general gist of the live chat is. 300 people here already. Make sure you guys hit the like button if you haven't. Arsenal Manic says Madrid paid 3 million euros for him and they've loaned him out for 5 straight seasons. He's not making the Madrid first team. Well, Madrid are in turmoil themselves. Most Spanish clubs are, or most big Spanish clubs. Atletico there are, quietly and surely doing their thing, but Real Madrid and Barcelona, some of the business they've done over the last 5 years, it's been nonsense. I remember the month that they signed Paulinho, and I just thought to myself, Paulinho. But I had, football fans, Messi fans and Barca fans saying it's a good signing. It's a good signing. But between Real Madrid and Barcelona, some of the business they've done over the last 5 years has led them down to where they are now. And as much as we have got a good deal at the back of it, same way we got a good deal with Mesut Ozil, same way we got a good deal with Alexis Sanchez, Martin Odegaard's another good deal. But like Mesut Ozil and like Alexis Sanchez, it will not be enough if you don't plug the other areas that need plugging. That was Ozil's downfall. For the first few years, a lot of fans, including myself, were saying, you're not building adequately around him enough. And that was a legitimate excuse for it all. Same with Sanchez. It just seemed like we was going for the convenient transfers, the ones that we could get done off the back of other clubs doing their business. Essentially the domino effect working in our favor. And it kind of happened again with Martin Odegaard. We've waited it out. Real Madrid are in turmoil, like I just mentioned. The Liga bringing in new restrictions and new laws and around the wage caps and salary caps and all of that. To be honest, listen, Premier League, I'm in England, that's what I focus on. I don't really know what's going on over there in terms of their regulations and whatnot, but I know it is off the back of poor business and doing stuff that's not self-sustaining in a sense. And that self-sustaining word or model and or whatever it is, it jars me no end, because at Arsenal, that's what we were sold as the way to move forward for many years following the Emirates Stadium move and the consequent downfall since. It is sad, but here we are. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Hendengoon. I hope you're well. Love this show, says Triple Gaming. Appreciate that, my guy. Odegaard's overrated, in my opinion. I don't think he's overrated. I do think some fans overrate his impact on last season. I think I saw good things from Odegaard, when he came in January, but at the same time, I feel like he didn't show his full potential. Obviously, that he had an injury against Gibraltar as well, international, which didn't help him. I remember he came back straight away and, he had to face a few games out following, and that kind of hampered the end of the season, not only for him, but for us too, because he was important for what we was trying to do towards the end, and that was get Europa League and try and get into the Champions League through the back door. It wasn't to be, and part of that was due to the injury and lack of options we had. But I wouldn't say he's overrated. I'd say he's rated around the level he should be rated at the moment. And it's up to him to now kick on. His potential and his ceiling was always deemed to be a lot higher than what we've saw already. And that's where I'll say I can understand if people say overrated. But when I hear people talk about him now, I don't really hear people, mention that he is up there with the best of the best. I hear people saying he's young, he's developing around the corner. He can be the next best number 10, next great thing in attacking midfield for us, or, a leader. That is some of the qualities that I loved in Odegaard, his leadership, the fact that he comes in on loan, but he still has the chest and the, the nous to instruct, to lead, to talk to the people around, to ask for more. And we need that in abundance because we lacked it in abundance for the last 5 years. We need leadership in that ilk and also other forms of leadership too. But what I've seen of him on the pitch, he, at his age, with the environment he was in from January up until the end of the season, that is a pro, that is a benefit, and that is something we lack. So as much as he brings quality on the ball and as much as he brings quality in the attacking midfield position, I believe he also brings in leadership qualities. And in my honest opinion, leadership qualities is near the top end of what we need as priority at this club. Quality, no doubt. Leadership, no doubt. I think they're neck and neck in terms of what we need. If not leadership, a bit ahead of quality. We've had quality in the past. I've mentioned Mesut Ozil, I've mentioned Alexis Sanchez, and we've had other quality players even before them, with the Van Persies and the Fabregases and Cazolas and so on. But we didn't have no leaders in the side. We didn't have no direction. We didn't have the grit and the fight and the heart and the togetherness that you need on top of the quality. That's what we lacked when Mesut Ozil and when Alexis Sanchez was at this side. And that's what we still lack. You look at the dressing room and you look at the, atmosphere, it's still very much a laid back, anti-winning, pro friendship kind of group. It's kind of all mad to me, and that's why I liken it to nurseries and creches, because it feels like we're looking after these men more than, they're looking after the club that they play for and the fans that they play for. That should be their duty, but it never is. 3 p.m. protest Sunday. Yep, I'm there. Odegaard or no Odegaard, Maddison or no Maddison, I'm there on Sunday. And listen, yesterday when I done the stream about Kroenke, if you was there saying you're going to protest, you should still be here today saying you're going to protest. Odegaard doesn't change that. And if we want Odegaard to have a successful career at Arsenal, and if we want him to develop and come into the footballer and the leader we need, then we're going to need to do other business and we're going to need to plug other areas. And it is jarring continuously talking about plugging other areas and the need to fix other problems on top of, a good signing in Odegaard. But it's the reality. Can I sit back and enjoy the Odegaard signing? Not really. Because when Pepe came in, I sat back and I enjoyed that and I gave the benefit of the doubt. And I thought, let's see, what else we do and how we move into the season. Tierney, Martinelli was in and around that time. That transfer window looked all right. But in hindsight, you realize that we didn't actually fix none of the holes that we had to. Essentially, we bought a few players and, we lost ourselves as fans thinking that the job was done and we can kick on. Essentially, we kicked on backwards and we went 8th with an FA Cup and 8th without an FA Cup in the last season. So as much as Pepe, good signing, as much as Partey, good signing, I feel like good signings need to be complemented by what? Good signings. Clever, shrewd signings. Now, there's still a right back issue at the club. I don't think that's going to be resolved by the start of the season, considering we've got 4 right backs in that position already, and none of them look like they're on the verge of an exit. The likelihood of us sorting out that right back position is dim. And then you've got central midfield, where Granit Xhaka has just signed a new contract with a pay rise. Yes, it will be a 1-year extension, but it is a pay rise. And when people say retain value, you already know what I think about that. What value? But it looks like that new contract has quelled any rumours to central midfielders and any hope we might have as Arsenal fans to get another body in the middle, which is very much needed. Odegaard does help the attacking free options. I'll give that. With Odegaard, Emil Smith-Rowe, Saka, Pepe, Martinelli, you've got 5 players there across 3 positions, and I'm happy with that. I'm not so much happy with the striking options we have and the form they're in, or the midfield options we have with, Thomas Partey injured, Lokonga young, inexperienced, and I don't believe ready to, put Arsenal Football Club on his shoulders yet. I'm demoralised in that position too. So central midfield and right back are still positions that need to be attacked, but lo and behold, we're here, on the verge of a Ramsdale signing. If that Ramsdale signing does go ahead, then I think, it undoes the good work the club done with the Odegaard deal now. And I say good work because people can say, and I have seen this already online, we went into the summer with Odegaard being our number 1 target, and we held out until we got him for 30 to 35 million. And 30 to 35 million for Odegaard is a good deal. But I look at it the other way. I look at it like, well, if you maybe offered the higher end to 35 to 36, 37 mil earlier on in the window, we might have had Odegaard in here from a lot earlier. And as much as he played for us for 4 or 5 months towards the back end of last season, we would have had him here for pre-season too. He could have, got used to Arteta and the other players some more. Instead, he comes in between games at the start of the season, and essentially Wednesday, 18th of August, with Chelsea a few days away, we're all hoping that he'll be in and ready for Chelsea. Does he change much for that Chelsea game? Honestly, not in my opinion. But again, the situation we're left in as Arsenal fans heading into this season, we have to hope. And if we've got a new signing coming in that can play against Chelsea this Sunday, we're going to hope that he can make some form of change. But let's not delude ourselves to thinking that he will. Good signing, but it's not enough. El Jefe said, thank God we never got Buendia. But that Buendia situation kind of tells me that, well, not tells me, it makes me question whether Odegaard was number 1 target, or whether we was going for, a bunch of attacking mid options and seeing which one we can get. Obviously, Odegaard comes in at slightly less than Emi Buendia, and I know a lot of people are laughing about that, saying, great piece of business. But until the season plays out and Buendia finds his feet at Villa and whatnot, we won't know and be able to justify which signing would have been better. I like Buendia. I like Odegaard. 2 different players, and I think 2 players that could play in the same team. But it just makes me question why we went in for Buendia originally. He did cost less. Arsenal Manager said he didn't impress last season. How is he our number 1 target? I think he did impress, not overly impress. I think he impressed because, when you see where Arsenal were at the time and what we lacked, he brought that, maybe not in abundance, but he brought that in. I just feel like it's a balance. Like I said before, we know his potential and his ceiling is meant to be higher than what we've saw, and we didn't see that. Now, in 4 or 5 months coming into that Arsenal team, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll give him the benefit of that because I believe there's a good player in there. I believe there's a leader in there, and I think he has the qualities we do lack in the attacking midfield position. In terms of a bit of composure, a bit of nous, a bit of that laid-back approach where the game slows down around him and he can pick out the pass he needs. Whereas with Emil Smith-Rowe, he's a lot more of a dynamic attacking mid, running past the striker, beating the lines and all of that. So for me, Odegaard is a good signing, but again, don't mistake a good signing for change at this football club yet. We've made good signings in the past. We've made good signings in Pepe, Partey, Martinelli, Kieran Tierney, and we haven't kicked on. Like I said, we've moved backwards. Red White Pappy says, hey Turkish, hope you're well, bro. How do you rate the window? Personally, I wish we get a right back and another centre mid. Well, exactly what I said a couple of minutes ago. I'd feel a lot better about the window if Odegaard comes in, a right back comes in, and another centre mid comes in. But when you hear Xhaka's contract has kind of, dampened rumours and links to other central midfielders, what are we to do? A bit of the same old, This summer, like I just mentioned with attacking mids, Buendia, Odegaard, Maddison, 3 attacking mids, but 3 very different attacking midfielders. Very different. All 3 have different qualities in that position. That's what worries me about the profile we're going for. If we're going for 3 different attacking mids, different profiles, what do you want, Arteta? What exactly do you want to add to this side? Is it a bit more of a dynamic approach with Buendia, or do you want that laid-back style with Odegaard? Maddison is more that dynamic style as well, in the Emil Smith-Rowe ilk, we could say, obviously with more goals. So how do I rate this window right now? And I say right now, and I'm going to include Odegaard in that. And I'm going to say I rate the window. So we've got Odegaard in, Lokonga in, Ben White in, and Tavares in. William Saliba situation's a mess. Guendouzi, yeah, it's a shame. Kolasinac seems to be like he's going Fenerbahce. You've got to take into account the lack of proactivity, because it's not just signings and how much you get those signings for and what positions. It's also how you do it, when you do it, in what manner you do it in. So bearing in mind those variables too, I'd say it's I'm leaning to a 3 out of 10 window. I'm leaning to a 3 out of 10 window. Now, if Aaron Ramsdale comes over the line, that 3 out of 10 turns to a 2, potentially a 1 out of 10, because, deals like that can bring a transfer window down because there's not much future in it. And I say with Ramsdale, if we were to sign him, the future doesn't look great with him, because I don't think he's going to be a top quality keeper. I don't think he's going to be the keeper we need. And especially playing at the back, I'm not too sure about his credentials there. That's a big worry with Leno at the moment, and I'm not sure Ramsdale eliminates those worries. I say I'm not sure because I don't watch him like that, and I'm not sure any Arsenal fan has watched Ramsdale like that over the last couple of seasons, but I'm pretty sure playing at the back is not his forte. And playing at the back seems to be what Arteta wants to do. So to bring in another goalkeeper that isn't experienced in playing at the back, I don't honestly understand, the direction. And like I just mentioned with the profile of attacking midfielders we're going for, the profile of the goalkeeper we're going for doesn't seem to make sense. And then we look at midfielders, for example, when the Xhaka rumours started, check the profile of the midfielders we were linked to then. We were linked to Locatelli. That's one profile. Neves, that's another profile. 2 different central midfielders. Basuma, another profile. I'm sure there was other central midfielders we was linked to in and around that time. But again, very different profiles. It's not like we are going for an athletic centre mid and that's the profile we're going for. It's different profiles. It just seems like we are, we throw a net out there and we see what we catch coming back in. Whether it's a deep lying playmaker, whether it's a box-to-box midfielder, whether it's a creative central midfielder. When we chuck the net out, we hope for the best, and whatever comes back, we work with. I need to see direction. I need to understand. And this was a problem with Arteta at the end of last season. At the end of last season, I questioned, what do you want? What formation do you want to play? Who do you want? Who's your first choice right back? You bought Cedric, you play Chambers, sometimes Bellerin. Now, what is going on there? We need a bit of clarity on this, situation moving into the summer. And we got none of it. We got no clarity. And by clarity, I mean, show me what you want to do next season. The Premier League was pretty much done for us with 8 to 10 games left of the season. So things like giving Balogun a chance to show what he's about before deciding whether you want to loan him in the summer would have been beneficial. Things like, implementing the formation you want to implement. Instead, you're telling us that Granit Xhaka missing at left back was key because, that's what you've been training for. But the whole of the season, you're not training with Granit Xhaka left back. So why all of a sudden, a week that Tierney's out, you put everything on missing Granit Xhaka in that semi-final and not being able to play him at left back? We need to know what you're trying to do here, my guy. You know, we need to know what you're trying to do. And again, in the summer, I still don't know. With the attacking mids, I don't know what he wants. With the goalkeeper, I don't know what he wants. With the central midfielders we were linked with, I don't know what he wants. It's mad. We wasn't linked to a right back, so I can't say I don't know what he wants there. But the current situation with the crop we have leads me to, I don't know what he wants. Like I said, he bought Cedric. He said Cedric is our best technically. Then Chambers and Bellerin are ahead of him at the end of this season. Can't, like, what? Then Bellerin wants to go, but he doesn't because we, you know, overvalue him. So in the end, we go into a season with 3 left backs, albeit Kolasinac might be on the way to Fener. And we've got 4 right backs, albeit a couple of them don't see themselves as right backs or whatever. That's where they play. It's just not 7 fullbacks in a 25-man squad. 7 fullbacks in a 25-man squad. Madness. The type of midfielders we need, says Aya, are Basuma and Bruno Guimaraes. We need no-nonsense midfielders that fight. But those type of mids scare Arteta. And you are right, you know, look, some of the no-nonsense midfielders fight. 100% I agree. That's the profile I want to see. We have made inroads in terms of being that soft team, you know, 4 or 5 years ago that can be bullied. Well, not necessarily that soft team that can be bullied now. We're essentially a team that trips over our own feet and does more damage to ourselves than the other clubs can do. That's how I see us now. So more fight, more leadership, more heart in the middle. I don't know much about Bruno Guimaraes, but I've heard good things. So I'd be happy to take him. Basuma, I think that was just a fan's pipe dream. I think we was more pro Basuma than the club ever was. Let's not forget the club went to Brighton, knocked on the door and said, yo, Ben White, how much is he going for? While Tariq Lamptey and Basuma are just sitting there probably thinking to themselves that, you know, Arsenal need the positions that I play and maybe they're going to come for me. It wasn't to be. And I'm not saying I want Lamptey. I think Aaron's would be a better profile for me. But what I am saying is Brighton have players in positions that we lack in, but we went to them and went for someone else. And that doesn't fill me with much, you know, with much anything, to be honest. Joshua says, big up Turkish. In my opinion, you can only rate this window as a 2. It's not just about players getting in or out. It's the use and timing of the arrivals and departures. I agree. I did say 3, but like I said, you know, some of the rumors with Ramsdale and some of the other business and lack of business, let me say, in this transfer window, it will probably bring it back down. You know, I say 3 out of 10 because in the next couple of weeks, I expect to see at least one more body, whether that's at right back, whether that's at striker, whether that's central midfield. I expect to see it. But at the same time, you know, you can expect with Arsenal, but you know, more often than not, you don't get what you expect unless you expect the reality. And the reality is a club that's run in the wrong way. And when a club is running the wrong way, the evidence is on the pitch. And the evidence has been on the pitch for the last couple of years in abundance, and the last 10 years, slowly but surely. But 100% Joshua, I agree with you. Sparky says, you reckon as Arsenal fans, we should follow Brentford instead this season? If we hurt the club's pockets, the greedy pigs might leave. You know, I see a lot of people saying, you know, they're on loan to PSG and they're on loan to Man City and they're on loan to Brentford and this and that. I get it. I get where it's coming from. And, you know, it's tongue in cheek. Obviously, when your club is not filling you with hope and ambition, again, it's not the first time. It's jarring. It's just, you know, it's like nails on a chalkboard. Like, it's just, come on. I'm tired of hearing it. I'm tired of seeing it. And I get it. It's tongue in cheek, man. Me personally, I can't follow another team. I can't follow another team. Obviously, I've got connections to Fenerbahce and Turkey, but it's not like I follow them, you know, and I just can't follow another team. Arsenal are my team. And anytime we're talking of football or anytime football is being talked about around my friendship circle, family circle, anytime it's on, I think of Arsenal. I don't think of anyone else. You know, even when Messi, the whole Messi drama's going on, do you know how massive that is in the football world that Messi's moved? But anytime I think Messi's moved, I just think to myself, I'm not saying Arsenal can get him, but I'm just thinking to myself, Messi's moving from one powerhouse to another powerhouse. We've got everyone discussing it, whilst my club's just sat at home, twiddling their thumbs, waiting for the Brentford game and to test the waters. Everything. Everything. I look at everything and I relate it back to Arsenal, and it just brings me down. Hence, I can't follow any other club. I just can't. Here we go. Apparently, Odegaard. Here we go. Confirmed. Is that what you lot are saying? Well, to be honest, he did say here we go yesterday, Romano. So let's see what he's saying today. Let me just bring up his page right now. Here we are, 2 minutes ago. Martin Odegaard to Arsenal. Here we go. The deal confirmed. Permanent move, a bit less than 40 million euros, which probably works out to about 35 million pounds. Personal terms already agreed on a 5-year contract. Edu and Arteta wanted Odegaard as only priority since June. Strategy was correct and now done deal. Well, if, you know, Odegaard was the only one wanted since June, then I'd question why we went for Buendia. Because before anyone says, I don't think going for Buendia would have, you know, worried Real Madrid and would have put them on the back foot or got their backs up about any, you know, potential Odegaard deal. But, you know, it is what it is. It looks like Odegaard's coming in. It looks like it's around the 35 million mark. It looks like we've got our number one priority. So, you know, it is what it is. Like I said, we still need some more business to do. There's 2 weeks to go in the transfer window. So in those 2 weeks, I still expect to see at least one arrival and at least 2 free departures. And I think that's being fair. 2 free departures and 1 arrival. In them 2 free departures, I hope Kolasinac is included. That will be ideal. But at the same time, there's at least 7 players at this side that can, you know, can leave. So I don't care who it is, just get at least 3 out. So the job and the work we need to do in January and next summer is minimal. The work that we need to do in January and next summer comes off the back of the good work we've potentially done in this summer. So yeah, we just need to focus. Yes, Odegaard's a good signing. Yes, he brings something we need. And yes, we saw a glimpse of him. But we've also saw that with him, we don't quite cut the mustard. We've also saw that with him, you know, it didn't really change our fortunes much. So let's not link not changing our fortunes much to him and say he didn't do anything to help. Let's, you know, realize that, yes, he did bring something we lack. And yes, he is a quality player, but we also know that he's not enough. I keep on going back to the Jadakiss thing. It's good, but it's not enough. With Arsenal, I swear down, I need that Jadakiss clip as a meme because I might have to use it at the end of this transfer window. It's good, but it ain't enough. Yeah, and that's how I see Martin Odegaard. We got Cruz here saying, could it be the case that our club motto, victory through harmony, is holding us back from being ruthless in our outgoing transfers? You think this ownership cares about this club's motto? They probably don't even know that. I'm pretty sure Kroenke doesn't know our club motto. I already know for a fact that he doesn't watch our games. I already know for a fact that someone, a couple of days after an Arsenal win, saw him in America and said that was a good performance the other day. And Kroenke was like, what are you talking about? Probably thinking about the Rams and so on. Because he doesn't care. So if he doesn't even care when we're playing or what colour shirt we're playing and or the result we've just had, there's no way he cares about the club motto. And with Mikel Arteta and Edu, yes, they'll know about the club motto a bit. Well, I say a lot more because they've played for the club, especially Edu playing in the era he played in. But essentially, they've both proven to be company men. Arteta, company man, puppet. Edu, company man, puppet. And so on with Vinay and all of them. Shadman in the building. Hope you're good, my guy. Hey, Turkish, hope all is well. Apparently, there is a first refusal clause in the Odegaard deal. Spanish clubs love doing that. Spanish clubs do release clauses, first refusal clauses, all of that stuff. So I'm not surprised to hear that. You know, if there's a first refusal clause, it is what it is. What can we do? The worry there, obviously, is... Listen, the worry there is in the future. It's a 5-year deal. He's 22, turning 23. That brings him to 27, turning 28. That brings him into his prime. So the next 3 years, you know, hope he develops well. You give him a new contract, you kick on. So that first refusal and all that, you know, it's a non-entity moving forward. But if Odegaard kicks on and, you know, develops and shows that he is a quality player and he reaches the ceiling he reaches, but Arsenal don't accommodate around him, similar to Saka and Emile Smith-Rowe and the young talent we do have, if we don't accommodate around them as they move forward and develop, they're going to seek pastures new, because they're going to want to go to a platform where they can succeed, they can win, they can add to their trophy collection, because, you know, the lifespan of a footballer is short. So, you know, that clause, in my opinion, probably shows that Real might be interested in the future when they find their feet again, because that's what they need to do right now over in Spain, La Liga, Barca and Real. They need to find their feet before they really start doing proper business again. So maybe they'll come back in. Maybe they'll come back in. That's 125 million spent if Ramsdale is done. That Ramsdale deal better not be done. Like I said, if that Ramsdale deal is done, I'll come back. I'll come back. It's not often I do 2 videos in one day, but if it's closed tonight, I'll be back at 9-10 p.m. We'll have a late night session. I remember doing those. People used to enjoy the late night sessions. 1,900 here live. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video if you haven't already. And put your notifications on if you haven't already. A lot more content coming this season. A lot more link-ups. A lot more people in collaborations. A lot more shows. Big Six is obviously back and even better than ever with Skullfuggery on board. Big Six Extra will come soon with a different cast to see what you guys think. So make sure you guys are subscribed if you haven't already. 1,900 people here. How many likes we're on? Let me just quickly check how many likes we're on, because we can't be touching 2,000 people. We're not even on 500 likes. It's all mad, people. It's all mad. It doesn't cost a thing. You just scroll, you hit the thumb up, and you keep it moving. You still hear me talking here. All you got to do is hit the like button, get the video out there some more. Romano also added, priority since the beginning of the transfer market is coming soon. I think Romano, you know, his shots to Wheatley and whatnot with Wheatley and AFC Bell with the Madison. Oh, AFC Bell, we haven't even talked about him. We talked about him a little bit yesterday, or him, her, or them. I don't know who they are, who he is or who she is. And lo and behold, I don't know what he's done. It's like he's retired or something. But we'll get into that one too. It's funny how, you know, 1 minute he's saying Madison and Odegaard together, and the next minute he's saying, oh, this file is wrong. And what file, bruv? And so, yeah, he messed up, and a few people were tagging me in the tweet saying Turkish said it. Turkish told you. Is he replying to you? I'm sure he wasn't replying to me. I'm a small fish in a big pond, so I'm sure he wasn't. But I'll always give you my opinion, real, raw, and, you know, unfiltered, and that was my opinion on it. Same way last summer, I called him out saying this Thomas Partey news, and then he got it right. Cool. You know, I hold my hands up and say, yeah, my guy, you done your thing. Well done. And that's what I did last summer. But this summer, you say more nonsense, yeah, you will be held to it, my guy. You will be held to it. He didn't say we'll get one. He said we'd get both. I see someone here saying he would get one. No, he said we'd get both, my guy. Hence why he's there apologizing. Hence why he's there apologizing. Odegaard's another Ozil. Let's hope not. Let's hope not. Let's go to AFC Bell, since we're on that subject right now anyway. Continue getting your questions, thoughts in, people. Make sure you continue hitting the like button as I get these tweets out. Nearly 2,000 in the building. Can't believe we're not on 1,000 likes yet, but, you know, that's up to you guys. If you hit 1,000 likes before the video ends, I know this is more of what you want to see. If it doesn't, maybe you don't want to see it. So AFC Bell tweeted yesterday, we published this afternoon exclusive news about negotiations with Leicester City regarding James Maddison. We did not rely on this on an orphan source, but as it seems clear in the meantime, Arsenal is very close to Martin Odegaard. Without further ado, we failed in this file and we apologize. What is this? Like an announcement that you failed? Without further ado, we failed in this file. And let me just take a step back. So an in the know who's got stuff right before has come out and got something wrong, and he's coming out to apologize. But I guess the only thing you can do is apologize and say, you know, you trusted your source and it wasn't to be. I guess that's the only thing you can do. So let me not rip him too much about that. It goes on to say, we promised to leave cyberspace last January, cyberspace being internet, but we came back to cover a transfer window that may be the most important in the club's recent memory. Do you know how many times I've heard this transfer window is one of the most important in the club's history? More time is every transfer window, and more time is never sufficient enough. Our work is in your hands and you are the judge. But since the main file is now closed, we can only prepare to leave silently. This is very dramatic, if you ask me. It's very like, oof, like calm down a bit. Dear followers, we had promised you upon your return with enriching content for those who wish to become a journalist or have journalistic tendencies. We know that our level in this window is not a good advertisement for the product, but it will be free and available to everyone. We hope that this article will inspire 1,000 bells. Fucking inspire. You've already inspired 1,000 bellends, that's for sure. Because pages like this, and I'm not putting this on AFC Bell, but let me go back to that, because this one here I'm going to call out. Let me go back to that. Man said, we hope this article will inspire 1,000 bells and Arsenal that outperforms us. My guy, yeah? What do you mean inspire 1,000 bells? Either you're in the know. Imagine, yeah? If I'm legit and in the know, if I've legit got a source that calls me and says, yo, Turkish, this is happening, say it with your chest. If I've got that source, yeah, that's my source. So if he's got it wrong once and right twice, that's my source. I get it. He can be wrong, he can be right. But that's my source. How am I inspiring thousands of bells? Have they got sources? Because they look at what I do and, the fact that I'm in the know and I've actually got a source. How can I inspire them? So you're essentially saying here, inspire more fake in the knows. Unless you're willing to give your source to a couple of these people you're trying to inspire, AFC Bell, I don't see how, that makes sense to me. And then the last one was, the dramatic, in God's protection, we meet soon and whatnot, whatever. It's very dramatic. And if you think this is the last we see of AFC Bell, you're very much mistaken. Obviously, he's got something wrong now. He's getting ridiculed for it. He wants to, hold his hands up, apologize, cool. But this ain't the end. Like he said, he was meant to leave in January. He came back because this is meant to be the biggest transfer window in Arsenal's history. Again, we haven't had that transfer window. So guess what? Next summer will be the biggest transfer window in the club's history. Because if you don't actually have the biggest summer in the club's transfer history, it's always going to be waiting around the corner in terms of what you need. So yes, AFC Bell, we'll see you again next summer. We'll see you again next summer. Jack says, am I going mad? No right back links, nobody concerned. I'm definitely concerned, Jack. I think a lot of us are concerned, including you there. I can see how concerned you are. But what do we do? What do we do? This is why it's good, but it's not enough with Odegaard. It's good, but it's not enough. Man. Yeah, that's what inspire 1,000 bells. Bellens, bellerins. Yeah. Cedric ain't. Yes, Cedric isn't. And if I had to pick out of all the right backs we had who I would start Cedric. Because he's a right back by trade. He hasn't let us down like the other right back by trade Bellerin has done. And then the other two are not right backs by trade. So I'm going to go with the right back by trade who hasn't let us down as much as the others. And even if you look at letdowns in comparison to Ainsley Maitland-Niles and Chambers, Cedric is still at the bottom of the list. Does this make him the answer? No. But in all honesty, I don't understand why he's not first choice. He's our best attacking fullback on that side. Has says, every time I see Arsenal play, I see a lack of testosterone. Well, this dates back a long, long time. This dates back to the soft, the soft core, soft center that, we've been said to have for how long now? Every time I see Arsenal play, I see... Oh, sorry, I'm going to read it again. Why not? Every time I see Arsenal play, I see such a lack of testosterone. If we can't win the match, can we at least win the fight for a change? For us, the fight's harder than the match, and we ain't winning matches, so you know how the fight's going to go. Let's be honest here. Even was it the last game or the game before in pre-season against Tottenham? Something happened with Arteta and someone else, one of the players, and you just saw none of our players coming back here. And it's happened before. Martinez towards the end of last season. I forgot who it was. Was it Shaw that, went through behind him, his Achilles, and instead of, the team kind of coming around Martinelli and like putting it on Shaw, you've got Xhaka protecting him because they're from the same country and just giving him a pat on the neck saying, keep it moving as he gets his red card and walks off. It's crazy. Soft since 08. I'd actually agree with that. That was when we went from the power of Vieira and Henry's and all the players we had in defense to the Helebs, the Rosicki's, the Fabregases, the Nasri's, and so on. You know, players that are very technical, but they haven't got the fight. And that was, can you imagine? These are the eras we've allowed Kroenke and this club to have. And I know they was, you know, they was more Wenger, in all honesty. What's this here, man? Get this person out of here, bruv. Mods, come on, mods. Hope you're in the building. Make sure you get rid of these guys. Don't leave it to me, please, because it would just put me off. Let me get rid of this one as well. Yeah. What's Cam got to do with anything here anyway? I don't even know which Cam you're talking about. Big up culture Cams, but I don't know what Cam you're talking about. Yes, mods. You here? You do it? Calm. Calm. Don't worry, I'll add a bit more mods soon. Where was I? Yeah, the eras we've went through. So following Invincibles and Emirates move and whatnot, if we look at the first, and that is the tiki-taka style, you know, the smaller, diminutive midfielders, you know, interchange, pass, move, walk it into the box. That was the Heleb, Rosicki's, Fabregas, Nasri's, all of that. And then, you know, Nasri left us, Fabregas left us, Heleb left us. You know, all these players started leaving us for the Barca's and the Man Cities. And, you know, Wenger was hurt, and we was hurt as fans. And then he moved into the British core. Let's not forget, we've done this British core already, and this whole picture like this with Oxlade, Jenkinson, Kieran Gibbs, Ramsey, Wilshere, and whoever else, like some British core. Look how that one worked out. But lo and behold, we've done a British core. We supported the idea. We understood that, okay, they think foreign players, you know, abandon us when going gets tough. Well, you know, the British core, Gibbs, not good enough. Jenkinson, not good enough. Wilshere, such a shame it didn't work out. Ramsey ditched us when he could. Who was the other one? Oxlade went when he could as well. So in the end, it was the same problem. But you want me to sit here now, well, a lot of fans want me to sit here now and say British core again. But we've been there, done that. And I'm not against the British core. What I'm against is giving these lot the same slate, clean slate that they've had in the past many times. I've seen it before. I've seen young foreign talent come in, young British core. I've seen us try and do Ozil, Sanchez and all that, you know, the bare minimum. And buying Ozil in one window, Sanchez in the other window, and checking the other window is the bare minimum. If you really want to kick on, you buy these players in the same window. But when you don't do it, it's slow. When you don't do it, by the time you need to do the next thing, the stuff you've done 2 years ago is undone. And I say this with Saka too. Saka's new contract was great news last year, but next summer he's with 2 years to go. And that's because we dilly-dally so much in between. You know, like, it's all good and well signing a 4-year contract, but if you waste the first 2 years of that contract, that player is going to be looking at it like, well, you know, I've got 2 years left. You lot ain't really moving in the right direction. Yes, I'm a Haaland boy, and yes, I might sign another new contract because of that. But in all honesty, you lot got to start fixing up. Otherwise, I'm going to have to look elsewhere. You know, we've seen other players have to do that. That's not like Sterling left Liverpool to Man City because he didn't believe in the project that was at Liverpool. And that's just a recent example. Kenna says, do you think we are waiting to qualify for Europe to attract players in striker and right back? Arsenal have too many holes to plug this summer. We always have too many holes to plug. But I'd like to see a bit of proactivity in plugging those holes. I'd like to go into a summer with 8 holes and 6 of them plugged by the start of the next season, then go into a summer with 8 holes and only plug 2 of them. Because by the time the next summer reaches, you'll probably find 2 more holes. So back-to-back summers, you've gone in with 8 holes. It's not sustainable. So you're right, we can't plug every hole, but we can plug the majority. And I don't think Arsenal are waiting for Europe because Arsenal are not doing what they should be doing to get back into Europe. Are we now going to clamour for Europa League now? Are we going to say we need to finish top 6? And that is good. I understand from where we have been the past 2 years, finishing top 6 will be an improvement, will be good in comparison. But let's be honest here, we got fed up as fans finishing just in top 4. So saying Europa League and top 6 is good in comparison to the last 2 years, yes, but we're fooling ourselves because we've had enough of this ownership and the way we've gone for far longer than the last 2 years. It's just finding little things of positivity and beams of light to stick on again. But you're right. Right back, is essential. William says, my bro Odegaard is pants. I beg man them stop ripping him, please. Another Ceballos. Nah. Odegaard is not worse than Ceballos, bro. I'll put my name on that. Odegaard is not worse than Ceballos. Ceballos, dead food. Ceballos, 2 years, nada. I'd even argue that Odegaard in his first 5 months showed more than Ceballos. And I'm not saying this as praise to Odegaard because he didn't do enough. But why I'm saying is Ceballos' time at Arsenal was so poor and so dire that, nah, Odegaard, in comparison to Ceballos, I'm not in it. Was Oba abducted by aliens, says Sparky. What happened to him? Who knows? We're hearing COVID now. I don't believe that because, we've been very transparent about COVID issues in the past 18 months. Why all of a sudden now? There's something going on there with Oba and Lacazette. There's something going on. Whether Oba's been promised things off the back of that contract that he's failed to see, and going into the Brentford game, he questioned and raised some of these concerns. Maybe that is it. Maybe Lacazette's being sold and Oba doesn't like that his best friend at the club is being sold. If that is the case, sell both of them. I can't make a informed judgment on how I would handle this situation because I don't know. If it is because Laka's being sold, then I'd sell both of them. But if it is because Oba's been promised stuff and he hasn't, got what he's been promised, then I'm on Oba's side. So right now, I'm not having too much of a say on this one. Am I happy going into another season with Oba and Laka? No. Because I feel like we've tried and tested that out so many times now that we should realize that they're not going to make it in the same team for a 38-game season and us move in the right direction. I think we know that now. So that's why I'm not happy that we went into the season with both of them. But off the back of the rumors and murmurs of, discontent, unhappiness, frustration, all of that, we just have to wait and see. Turkish, Odegaard is a great pickup, but when will we buy a right back and a central defensive midfielder? Central defensive midfield is sorted, my guy. Didn't you see Xhaka got a new contract? It's in the bag. Our central midfield is sorted for the next 4 years. GX, what's his number? I don't even know his number. 34? GX 34 to the world and back. Arteta has done this before. Luiz, Saliba, Guendouzi. It's true, when people want to focus on Arteta, I get it. Because week in, week out, we see him doing nonsense and we see him answering for that nonsense and we can't make sense of it. So I understand it. I understand the frustration. I understand being fed up and wanting Arteta out because that is the easier one to do. Arteta going is by far the easiest person to apply pressure on, easier than players, easier than Edu, and easier than the owner for sure. But just know, if Arteta is to get to, Arteta will be sacked this season. Edu might be replaced. Kroenke will bring in another manager, another manager we're not happy with. So let's not forget, when we bought in Arteta, we could have got Allegri. We could have got Ancelotti. And I know some people wanted Jose. I didn't want Jose, but for example, we could have got managers that had a high standing in world football and have won stuff in recent times. But we didn't. We went for Mikel Arteta. So as much as, we want Arteta out right now and Edu and so on, if Arteta goes first, which is going to happen, we're not going to get Conte. We're not going to get Ten Hag or some of the managers that we want to be linked with. We're not going to get that manager. And maybe we need to see it one more time for us to really and truly get round together and unite and align against the owner. Maybe we need Arteta to be sacked, Conte to be available, and this club to go for Duncan Ferguson or something. Because there's more chance we get Duncan Ferguson with this ownership than Antonio Conte. So maybe the fans need this club to show their hand once more with an Arteta sacking and an underwhelming arrival in his place. Maybe one more time is necessary. Ozzy Guna says, hard to be gassed by Odegaard as an attacking midfielder when all we do is pass it out wide to Tierney to cross it to nothing. And when you don't fix your midfield centrally, that's the big issue. Teams know that our attacking transition relies heavily upon Tierney on the left-hand side. Teams know that. So it's easier to accommodate for. We don't have a right back like Tierney, so they know in the right back situation, they're not going to be as worried as Tierney. And then when you look at our midfield, we don't go through the middle because we don't have the quality. If Partey's there, then cool. And I've seen enough of Lokonga to know that he's willing to break the lines, and maybe a Partey-Lokonga partnership, maybe, you know, is a success, maybe. But with Xhaka, with El Nene, and some of the midfielders we've had in the middle, we don't attack through the middle because we can't. We don't have the creativity. We don't have the mind to beat a team through the middle. Forget the grit and the heart and the passion for a sec, because we don't have any of them three in the middle. We don't have the quality either. We don't have the nous. We don't have the creative guile necessary. Sharma says, should go for Weghorst. We need target man desperately. Also, even if Arteta leaves, things won't change much as problems are deeper than that. New manager will have to face same issues again. Yes, my bro, and that's exactly my point. A new manager doesn't only face the same issues, but a new manager also gets a clean slate from us fans and a lot of people. And I know that's the fair thing to do, but how many times can you be fair before you start thinking, hold on, it's time to be unfair because they're not fair with us? You know, how many times can we be fair with this ownership and this club when they don't give a shit, and they continually show they don't give a shit what we think? So yeah, we need a target man. I agree with that, and 100% agree that even if Arteta, well, you say even if Arteta will be sacked this season, when Arteta gets sacked this season, brace yourselves for he needs time, he needs transfer windows, he needs at least a season excuses to raise their head again. Whoever it is next, even if it is Duncan Ferguson, the fair thing to do is give him 2 transfer windows a year and some time with the current personnel. Like Emery got, like Arteta got. When will we learn? When will we learn? Mr. Investment says, in midfield, we need someone who can speed up the tempo 100%. When it gets to the middle, literally, anytime it hits the middle with Xhaka and Nene, that's when the defending team get all their men behind the ball. Because it's so slow with those 2 players in particular that the other team just jog back and they're in front of the ball again. It's just mad. So we need speed there. We need guile there. Odegaard will not solve any of the current issues. He doesn't score an assist often enough. I agree with the speed aspect. I think, you know, Odegaard doesn't speed up the tempo, but what Odegaard does well is he does what Ozil did well, you know, in his first few years and at our club, in terms of picking out spaces, finding the time necessary and the balls needed to open up teams. That's what he does. But I agree with you in terms of upping the tempo. He doesn't do that. But I think the person behind him needs to do that. So maybe we bring in a defensive midfielder and Partey speeds up the tempo behind Odegaard, or we bring in someone next to Partey to help in that aspect there. But I do agree with you. Speed and tempo is a problem in the middle. And sometimes, you know, when you're quick with it, that's all you really need to do. When you're quick with it, you can beat a press. Sometimes it doesn't come down to quality. It just comes down to what's up there and how quick you can do it. You know, the triangles, you know, it's not tricks and flicks and it's not mathematics and algebra. Sometimes it's just be quick, open up your body, 1-2 touch, out of your feet, keep it moving. But our players even struggle with that aspect. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Sam says the speed and tempo will come with Gabriel and White. Fast passers. Let's hope so. Omar says, how many will turn up to the planned protest on Sunday? Well, if you asked me yesterday, I would have said a few hundred. But after the Odegaard news, I can't tell you anymore, mate. We'll see. If you think re-signing Granit is a quality central defensive midfielder, this club is smoking crack. There is no way we can depend on him. Well, what did the Liverpool ownership say about us when we went for Suarez for £40 million and £1? What was it again? What are they smoking over there at the Emirates? Yeah. Now us fans are asking what we're smoking over there at the Emirates. You know, we looked at that situation and again, it was another example of stupidity, commercial stupidity that other clubs could have an opinion on. Where is Torreira? Arteta just discarded him. I know that doesn't make sense to me. You know, obviously Torreira posted a picture whilst he was at Disney whilst we was losing to Brentford, I believe, which a lot of fans didn't like, and even I didn't really like it. But at the same time, he has been discarded, and is the screen all right? Yeah, because the screen just went blank for a sec. And you all hear me well, yeah? All good. Suleiman said, I missed your super chat. Sorry, my guy. Yeah, with Torreira, sorry. A bit of clarity on the fucking situation. That he's our player. He hasn't come for pre-season. Atletico Madrid don't want him, but he's still in Madrid. Can you tell us as a club what's going on? Even if you tell us Torreira wants a new club, and that's what we're seeking to find. Even if you tell us that, we can understand that. We can get our head around that. Cool. He wants a new club. That's why he's not here. But when you have a team that could probably do with a Torreira, those reasons are needed for us fans. We need to hear why. Torreira's on vacation, but the guy's been in Madrid. Imagine Atletico don't want you, and he's still in Madrid now. That was 2.5 months ago. Paul, you want to go for a target man that you have heard of? That's the issue, not some random player that no one's heard of. Who? Never heard of him. Oh, you're talking about Weghorst. Well, I've heard people say his name, but I'm like you, Paul. I haven't seen him in action. I don't know much about him. And I think you're right, Paul, in a sense of we want to know who we're getting, but at the same time, I expect any big football club that's paying, scouts and these people money to pick out gems here and there too. Sometimes a name that you don't necessarily know comes in and then, becomes a household name in the next couple of years. Sometimes that happens. I'm hoping that happens with Lokonga, for example. So it's not always the names I know that I want. The names I know make it easier to form an opinion of how that player will have an impact and how much they can improve the squad. But obviously, with Weghorst, because I haven't seen him, I don't know about him, I don't know how he can improve the side. That's just on the club. But let's not forget, it's not our duty to know these things. We are fans. ECQ says, Torreira mentioned he needed therapy this year. Yeah, he's obviously gone through quite a few issues personally. I believe his mother passed away. Don't quote me on that, but I believe something like that happened, and he had to take time out during the season. And that's a mass. Listen, mentally, looking after yourself comes first before anything in life. Forget football, forget your 9 to 5, and forget, rent and bills for a sec. Mentally, you need to look after yourself and do what's necessary. So yeah, he's obviously facing his own issues. Big up Curtis Shaw TV in the building. Curtis, I ain't got the intros like Laurie, my guy, but big up you. I know you're going live after this video shortly, probably in the next 5 minutes or so. So people, make sure you guys go over to Curtis Shaw TV after this video is done. Still 2,000 people here. Have we hit 1,000 likes? We're only on 890 likes. We're still not on 1,000. So I guess this is not the videos you want to see from me moving forward. I'll take note of that and see what I can do. Suleiman said, would Bielsa work? Bernardo Silva was available, but apparently Bernardo Silva wasn't interested in Arsenal. And I believe that. At 26 years of age, I believe that he probably wants to go to a team challenging. So I get it. I actually get it. Where are we? Call me stupid, but for me, the name has to fit the shirt. Well, yeah, but if we had Zlatan in his prime, I wouldn't mind it fitting the shirt or not. Big up Arsenal, Alex. I remember at the last protest, I went on your channel for a little bit live. Big up Arsenal, Alex. I'm sure I'll see you there on Sunday. Man said Lee Gunner is a god. Viva Rat Army. I see Lee flipping out on all of the Twitter Muppets, as he called them yesterday. And, I agree with the majority of what he said. They have us on strings. They have us on strings. And I say us because I'm an Arsenal fan. I don't say us because I'm on strings every summer. I don't believe most of the rumors. And I think that's the best way to go about it. Raheem says, big up Turkish. This manager doesn't know what he wants from the market. Torreira is one of the best dirty defensive mids in Europe. If player figures in the right place, we'll see the best version of Partey. Turkish is one of the realest Arsenal fans. He speaks the truth while many of us are delusional with the state we are in at the moment. Slowly but surely, I feel like everyone will reach the level of frustration, and it's not a word, but fed upness. Yeah, it's not a word, but I'm making it a word. People will reach the fed upness that I've reached with Arsenal. Hence why I look at it like that, and hence why people say I'm not delusional, I keep it real. Sometimes I think, I want a bit of that delusion back, because that's what football's about. A bit of hope, a bit of, oof, we haven't done enough, but we still go and we still move, a bit of belief. But this club don't give you that. Turkish, we know Saka is our best player, but who comes in second place? Kieran Tierney. I'd say Kieran Tierney's, minus the injuries. If he was fit, I'd say Tierney's our best player. But that's because of Saka's age, and in the next year, Saka will prove to be our best player. But yeah, Tierney's a close second, if not first at the moment. And after that, Saka, Tierney, Partey on his day is definitely up there, but we haven't seen him on his day enough at Arsenal Football Club to say that. It's fucked. Saka, Tierney, and then Partey. And as much as I said Partey, he hasn't had many days here. Oba hasn't had a day in a long time. Oba hasn't had many days since Partey's come. So how many times can we look back in history and give players credit? 2 Guns Tony, 100 consistently undiluted. Taking the AFTV setup. It is what it is. I'm here. You got to do what you got to do. It is a nice little setup as well. I might bring my logo and put it at the back. Is the protest at 3 p.m. on Sunday? Yes, it is, Jack. If so, see you there, G. Come on, my bro. 2:45. I'll make my way there. 2:45. I'll be there. So yeah, I'll see you there, Jack. If anyone's gonna be there, including Jack, 2:45. Meet at the bridge. The bridge just by the Armory. That's where I'll be heading to first, and obviously from there I'll make my way around and see what's what and see the best angles and best places to protest. Jean Ren says, Turkish, please check out last night's Highbury Squad podcast. A lot of truth spoken, and I think more fans need to see it. Shouted for you to be invited to. Highbury Squad, is that Sophie and Kevin Campbell? If it is, I'll check it out. Big up the Highbury Squad, man. They've been doing their thing for a little while now. And big up Same Old Arsenal. Big up Craig. Obviously, Craig has packed it in with Same Old Arsenal, the popular podcast with him, Harry, Dan, and Lee Judges. And they gave me an opportunity early on. Early on when I first done a couple interviews with AFTV, Craig shouted me and said, come on to the podcast a couple of times. And it was always a good chat. So it's a shame to see Same Old Arsenal is done, but, life moves on, and hopefully Craig comes back better than ever. I'm sure he will be back. I said to him he'll come on my channel at some point this season, and that will happen. Let's block the bus and protest hard, says Jorge. I'm all for it. Same way United fans got the game cancelled against Liverpool. Game against Chelsea, first home game of the season, second week of the season. Do you know how much noise that would make? Because towards the end of the season, clubs, the FA, the Premier League, the owners, they know that, okay, there might be a bit of noise now, but once the season ends, there's no matches to make noise at. But if the noise comes in at the start of the season, then there's problems. Because that season's a long season. With or without Europe, it's a long season. So if the clubs see pressure and aggressive pressure from the beginning, nothing will change immediately. Let me get that. Then nothing will change immediately, but questions and things will be asked internally. Couple more minutes and I'm gonna log off. Is Curtis live yet? If he's live, we might as well call it a day and pass on the reins to my guy. Is he live? Is he live? Where is he? Curtis Shaw TV. Set reminder 2:40. 2 minutes. Curtis will be live in 2 minutes, people. Love for moving that, Curtis. Obviously, I was aiming to get done at 2:30, but you know, I do look out for other people doing their shows because what's the point in it overlapping? You know, you hear from me, you hear from Curtis, you hear from Deluded, you hear from Lee, you hear from everyone. So if you're still free, people, head over to Curtis Shaw TV. Before you do, hit the like button. I'm about to record Box to Box with Matisse for AFTV, so look out for that in the next couple of days. And I'm on AFTV News Daily with Dan Potts tonight, which should be a good one. So make sure you guys are there. Love for the love, people. I'll be back again probably tomorrow, since you lot have you lot got up to 1,000 likes? Hey, we're on 1,000 likes. I'll be back here tomorrow, people. 1 p.m., 1:30 p.m. Make sure you're here too. And we'll keep it moving. Love for the love as always. Take care.